Let's have some fun. Luca Nation. We're recording this. I mean, it's basically it feels like a quarter to 12. I mean, we're recording this during halftime of the Chiefs Bills game. We were thinking maybe record at the end because typically it's not this way, but these games have significant relevance to the cards on the platform, right? That's not like that, during the regular season, but once we get into the playoffs, into these games where these are high value quarterbacks, high value cards on Collectable, we're thinking we record at the end of the day. But these games, I mean, every single one, if last weekend was boring, this weekend was exciting. Every game by a field goal. I'm going to start investing in field goal kickers. The way this
a lot of road teams winning. Field goal kick to finish it off at the end. The road team's taking it every game so far by a field goal. In this game that's being played right now, couldn't come at a better time. What a weekend of football to start off Collectibles fractional report before the opening bell. We're getting this out, Sunday night. This way you have it Monday morning before the opening bell. And so much crazy stuff going on in the fractional world.
I had a little exercise, Cage.
What is it?
Okay with
it's like a breathing. It's like a breathing exercise. Like
a little bit of rapid fire. A little bit of rapid fire. So I kind of wanted to hear, depending on how this game ends.
Okay.
What's going to happen to Josh Allen's cards the next 30, 60 days?
Yeah, I mean, well, if Josh Allen loses, I would think that you're going to see that gold, which had a run up and a slight tick down this past week, but it was up 100% the week before, may take a little bit of a step back. If he wins, it may take a little bit of step up this week, and then it depends on what happens during the AFC Championship game. I think the Bills will probably be favored. So yeah, I mean, it's fun that we're doing this, right? We're doing this right where that one's still up in the air. And a lot of auctions are ending tonight too. Robert Edwards auction's ending tonight. We got both of the PWCC auctions ending tonight because they had some issues yesterday with their premiere and it actually got extended a day. So now they're ending both their first ever weekly ends today and their premiere ends today as well. So lots of fun there,
Same question, Brady, Cage. Same question, Brady.
Well, now Brady, we know, right? So what's funny about it is let's. I'd like to say people already were starting to get a little down on Brady. I don't know whether you would consider fractional a leading indicator, a lagging indicator. We like to compare it to, the auction prices and get comps that way, and they seem to move with the auctions. But are they moving ahead of the traditional investor? So take a look at. For example, can you pull this up for me? This is going to be one of these fun episodes. I'm going to ask you to pull stuff off of me because, believe it or not, I did like 3 hours of research on this and didn't get market price the whole deal because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have like 9 items just from the card index that I thought that were worth talking about. At least just talking about and bringing up.
I'm ready to rock, Cage. I'm ready to rock.
First one
is I'm ready to rock.
The 2000 Contenders Wax Box. All right, so the 2000 Contenders Wax Box. All right, I want you to take a look at that. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of cards are traditional. We'll go through them, the Zion, the Gretzky, the stuff we talk about every week. But you bring up Brady, I got 3 things on Brady. We can. I want to make it a 4-hour episode, so I'll cut it down to 2. Look at this. This is a play on Brady, obviously, because this is the playoff contenders box. You'll read the description of it. This is one where you're trying to pull Brady rookies out of this, and it's a nice. People talk about your buying wax, right? Sealed wax, the way to go. Everybody knows about the Brady contender rookie, right? And this obviously is a play on Brady. But Brady won last week. He won pretty convincingly last week. But I think people thought that he was going to have a tougher time and that even if he got through this week, he wouldn't. Can you just show the 1 week on this? So it started at $17.95 a share and ended at $12.10 per share. That's a pretty large drop. So while it's still 20% higher than its IPO price, right? It's basically $5 and change a share down this past week, probably in anticipation of him having a tougher week here, right? So figure that out. Just go back to the market on that one, right? How many shares?
Right, so it looks like
23.25, right? So this is something that was well over $40,000 to start the week, and is now sitting at what, 20 something, 28? 28-1, exactly. So that's a pretty big drop after a week where he had a win. This, I think, is people who don't want to hold through this week and wanted to get ahead of this. And if it was just the wax box, right? If it was just the wax box, I'd say maybe it's an outlier. But do me a favor, type in Brady contenders. There's a basket, Brady contenders basket, right? And what you'll notice on this one is, what was the IPO price on this bad boy? Scroll down for me.
90. Now it's at
So
180, almost 100%, basically.
Right. So the price per share was, scroll down for me. $9.95 price per share. Yep. So here's what's fun about this one, right? So that's the price per share now. So this has now gone down 2 weeks in a row. So the card is up, obviously, but if you take a 1 month snap on this, right? 1 month. What is that over there? Is that 13?
13 down to 995.
Down to 995. And that's a 2 week. So it went 12. It closed. So it was as high as 13, but it closed 2 weeks ago at 12.5 per share. Closed last week 11.5 and fell below, closing below 10 at $9.95 per share, right? Which still a significant value here, right? Still, six-figure basket, 2 cards, you name it. But this is the Brady card, right? The 2000 contenders, the box down significantly. This is now a 2 week slide. You asked what I think was going to happen to Brady cards. I think Fractional is actually ahead of it here because there are people here who thought, you know how you like to say sometimes, well, if you think the Rams are going to win and Brady's going to lose, bet on the Rams. Okay, maybe they did bet on the Rams. Maybe they had conviction the Rams were going to win today and that Brady was going to struggle. They pulled their money out last week on both of those Brady items. And these are ones that have, started to fall. And I believe that if this is an indicator, you're going to see Brady's legacy is about as sound as it could ever be as anyone we're investing in who's playing now. It's him and LeBron, basically the only two in the same category. Championships, MVP, GOAT conversation, right? Brady is the GOAT. LeBron conversation. But there are people who would say that the cards have run with anticipation of maybe an MVP this year, maybe a Super Bowl this year. I don't think either happens. I think he actually deserves the MVP, but that's a conversation for a different day. But you ask about Brady, I give you 2 Brady items that I looked at before he lost. These are things that closed on Friday that were already on a downward trajectory, right? So do you think that him losing is going to stem that tide, or do you think people are going to sell into that now?
I have a strategy. So this might be the last time you have an opportunity to buy into Brady assets before he goes into like the retired category, right? Because think about it. It's been running for what, a year and a half, his cards?
Yep.
If there is like the sell-off into this kind of like dead period where he doesn't know if he's going to be back, all that stuff, he's probably going to take a vacation, and his cards drop 20, 30, 40%, that's not that huge of a drop. Like, for example, we talked about yesterday his Bowman Chrome Cage.
Yep.
Kind of compared that card to the LeBron Topps Chrome and how it's been performing. If it comes back down to 10, 11K, dude, that might be a time to scoop, right? Because let's say he plays one more year and then he retires. It's no longer performance driven. It's more like, I just want to have something of Brady's. And same thing, let's say you don't have that kind of disposable income. You could use fractional to dollar cost average into Brady, right? So like, I expect the slide to continue. I think it's just people taking profits, frankly. And I think you could kind of dollar cost average and you put $10, $15 into the basket, whatever it is, the wax, and kind of, as the months wear on, you extend your position in Brady, and it might be the last time you have an opportunity for that. And it's at a discount. So I actually think if you're a believer in Brady, if you've kind of wanted to get into Brady, but you missed the train. We always have that story cage. I missed the boat. There are pullbacks. They're never going to be pullbacks to like, where it could have been 3 years ago, but it's a relative pullback, and that might be an opportunity to jump in.
100%. Most definitely, 100%.
Keep rocking, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. You have 9 of these, so we could go a little bit rapid fire because there's some fun stuff here, and I want to get to everyone.
Well, I have a lot. I do. I have a lot, and let me throw one out there. Okay, can you do me a favor? Do you remember the card that I gave last week as my play for folks? Not financial advice and the whole 9 yards, but the play, a card that I thought was really undervalued. A card that I asked you what you thought about him because he was, he's a champ, right? Great player, but a tier below LeBron. Somebody who you thought had some relevance after the game. I gave a Dwayne Wade play last week. Do you remember? Yes, exactly. Can you pull up the Ultimate Black Label card? And let's just take a look at that, right? Let's take a look at that.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm curious to go up or go down.
I don't think I've really ever given something that has gone down. I'm just going to say that, because
unless you're telling people to short the market, then you're spot on. And you're just so you guys know, as we're gearing up, this is the prop king sitting across from me.
So, I haven't lost one. How about Josh Allen? He almost got the rushing prop at halftime. The dude, he's a beast. It's about watching the games. You say it all the time. So do me a favor, scroll down a little bit on this one, and let me just look at the market prices. It was like 4,000 shares. Let's just scroll down a little bit on this one, right? So what we see on this one is there's 4,150 shares, and it's now at 750, which is good. It means it was up 11% because it was 6 and change last week when we gave it. So obviously it moved up a little bit. What's that math work out to? 31,000 for the current market cap. So guys, the auction is not done yet, but this card, what does it say for pop on here? There's like none of these. It's a black 10-10, right? What are there? Three of these. So amazingly, right, there is one selling tonight in the premier auction. It's already bid up to $23,000 plus the buyer's premium. That adds $4,600 to it. So that means it's already at basically $28,000. The fractional one's at 31, right? One or two more bids on this, and the comp card here is going to be more and PWCC than this is, even after the 11% run up. So clearly, at the 6 and change a share last week when we talked about this, it was too low. You've had that little bit of a run up now. You're seeing a comp sell. Who knows when the next one of these, there's 3 of them. Who knows when the next one of these is going to sell? Same exact thing. Black label, 10-10 on PWCC. If you're trading, if you're listening to this in the morning, take a look at what that ended at. Again, population, BGS, black, 10-10, quad pristine subs. There's only 3 of them. So amazingly, of the 3, you have one trading here, and there's another one trading on PWCC's Premier. It's always fun to look at those comps.
Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Be first to listen to the show. Watch the auctions. Be first to act when the market opens.
Yep, 100%.
On these ones. Love it.
No, because, you're not going to get a much better comp than that. There's 3 of the same card. One's on Collectable, and one's ending right now. You know what I mean? One's ending tonight. And look, if it stays at 23, the comp is now 28. And that means, that the one on Collectable, while it's accurate, is about 10% higher than the comp. If this thing ends at 40, you obviously know that there's a different story here. Remember, one sale is just one sale and the whole 9 yards. But it's great to know when there are those comps out there on cards like that, because you're not going to see this card. It just doesn't trade that often, and then all of a sudden, boom, here it is. You're able to know what the market is on it. So that's one. Couple of other fun ones. Can I give you the one that stuck out to me the most?
Go ahead, I'm ready.
All right, can you pull up the Derek Jeter foil basket for me? Guys, I did not watch the news, right? I know there's a lockout. Did Derek Jeter flip his car over? Did he run over a child? Did he do something horrible this week to cause this card to go down 50%?
50% this week.
Well, let's take a look at the market cap on it, right? You can do a 1 week. Do a 1 week for me. Unless I'm wrong, this card closed last week in the 5s. It was like 4 and something there. Now it's 2. Look at this card. Right. The Jeter foil basket here is, it's
a fifth of what it IPO'd at.
It's basically, it's basically 80% off of the IPO price, right? And I don't know what he's done. I know this card sells, and obviously there are comps out there, and that's one of those things, right? But I don't know if this was a liquidity thing and somebody just running out. I don't know if there's an overreaction. But let's take a look. What are the subs on these?
It's a Min Gem BGS.
Min Gem BGS. So, these cards sell, and, so there's probably some comps on it out there, and we could take a look at some. But even with comps, there's a basket of 2 of them. It's got a market cap of 29. So you're talking about BGS 9.5s of this card selling for less than 15,000. I'm pretty sure the last PSA 10 sold for over $500,000. So,
wow. The last PSA 10 sold for $500,000?
I'm pretty sure. There's only like 2 dozen PSA 10 of the Jeter, of the Derek Jeter SP.
And two
So,
BGS 95s are 30?
It's a min gem. There's a huge difference, right? But I mean, that's the point, right?
I don't know, man. Sometimes I think we very much overstate that difference. And I'm not a BGS guy, but I hear you on the PSA 10. But I mean,
listen, the 10 is the 10. That's part. It's part of one of those things, right? When the 10 is as rare as it is, right? And like I said, I think there's 24 PSA 10s. That was the one that what's his name? Ken opened and got like a 5. You know what I'm talking about, right? This foil card. Ken Golden opened up boxes.
They just market make that card because they don't give any 110s. That's not like that's such a like I don't get that sometimes.
I mean, listen, we could talk about what happened with the card, why maybe now they're not giving 10s, but this card is one of those weird ones that just has a lot of factory miscuts. It's foil on 3 corners, and it's foil that gets real turned. There's a lot of white, and even the one corner that's not, it's got one of these weird, red, blue where the name is, and even that peels up. The corners on these cards are impossible. I want to give the pop on it because I'm pretty sure it was like 23 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to misstate the the price on it, but 279 Jeter, 21 of them. There's 21 PSA 10s, 611 PSA 9s. So 21.
Can we see when the last 10 was sold and what it was sold for?
We can take a look. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that there might have been a private sale, might have been like a PWCC private sale on the PSA website. The last 10 shows as, it looks like in August, 396,000. There was one in May for 492,000 golden. And then there was 360,000 in November. So that's what I'm telling you. Like you have two BGS 95s at 28,000, 29,000. And the last, I'm telling you, 468, 492, 396, and 360 for that card. Because there's only 21 of them. That's the deal. I'm telling you. And I'm pretty sure one might have sold since then. I don't know if it was like a private sale.
If you have big wallets or you don't, like, that's incredible.
So I mean,
I'm not going to even be able to do the math. 1/20th, a BGS 95 versus a PSA 10 is 1/20th now
of the lows. But yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if it's 14, it's less than 1/20th. The BGS 95 min gem. So I mean, it's definitely an interesting analysis.
Stop the episode right now and literally go watch every single Jeter BGS 95 on eBay and buy some of these tomorrow on Collectable and come back to the show. Because that's absurd. That doesn't make any sense.
It's a fun thing, right? It definitely is. You want to talk about a little bit of modern basketball or no? You want to talk about a little modern basketball? You want to go through some numbers? I have 2. I want you to tell me what your thoughts are, right? There are 2 they stuck out at me. One is Donovan Mitchell. What do you think, Donovan Mitchell? You think he's just done? He's never going to be cardboard relevant? So that's good. Relevant. Let's talk about it, right? So if you look at
Utah's not cardboard relevant. Donovan Mitchell's not cardboard relevant. They're not a threat. They're a good regular season team. You've said it all along. You've hit the nail on the head. You didn't even get distracted by the flash of Spider Mitchell, and he's just not cardboard relevant. He's good, but not great. He's
his national treasure was down 20% this week.
Who wants it? No high-end collectors buying.
You are my modern basketball guy. That's the thing. So is that part of it? Is that he's just there?
But he's a tier below.
I think you're right, and I think when we talk about like the MVP, and you're like, oh, you know what, Chris Paul's in the MVP conversation. I'm like, he's not even in the top 5, right? Where would Donovan Mitchell be? Top 15, 20? Yeah. And nobody's putting that kind of money in it. So let me give you one more, right? Jason Tatum, flawless 10. You can pull that one up for me if you like, right? Is he also not cardboard relevant? Is he done?
No, he's very cardboard relevant.
So let's talk about Tatum.
Spin. So you
pull that one up for me, the flawless 10, because I like flawless.
This is why, and some of the benefits and learnings of blockchain, it's not just the asset, it's who holds it. And when I understood that, I'm pulling it up, Cage, and talking.
Take your time.
So when I understood that, I went back to cards and I've started to pay attention to who owns who, and what I mean by that is, let's say you notice that retail small players, when they get into the hobby, they buy a lot of, I'm just using an example, Donovan Mitchell, versus when you look at, and maybe even Devin Booker in that scenario. And then you look at, wow, high-end collectors like Shine, like Spin, like, I'm probably missing a ton, and Miracle are buying a lot of Zion. You start to kind of pay attention to who holds it. And that gives you just one data point. And I think Tatum has a longer leash because of who holds his cards. I think a lot of high-end collectors do hold his cards, and that's what makes the cardboard relevant. And it also doesn't cause huge sell-offs. But I think he's at the end of his leash cage, if that's just my 2 cents on it, this card.
So check out this card. Gorgeous card, right?
Flawless is beautiful. I think Flawless is game-worn as well. And the 10-10 right now on PSA is like literally people just go nuts.
They're going nuts for it. 10-10. And look at the
so
price.
Pretty on the slab.
Now at $8.10, it's below. It's almost 20% below its IPO. And
they
down.
Purposely, Cage, don't put rookie stamps on these.
I don't know. Maybe
A
not.
rookie, but like they don't put the rookie stamp on it, which is a little.
I like the card. I love the green. I love the 2-color, patch on it. I think it's a really cool card. It's just whether you believe in Tatum. I love your analysis about who holds it. And can I tell you my thought on it? Because he's in Boston, I think there's a lot of people with a lot of money who hold him. Because in the hobby, there are people who have made a ton of money in New England, in the Boston area, by being Brady collectors for the last decade.
Why do you
because we've talked to a million of them. We've talked to so many millionaire 20-year-olds.
If I was born in Boston, I would be a millionaire.
Well, first of all, if I wasn't in New York and I was in Boston, the first 20 years of my baseball, first 20 years, the Yankees were terrible. The next 20 years were great. The Yankees owned the Red Sox. But for the last 20, it was easier to be a Red Sox fan than a Yankee fan. But more importantly, in New York, we didn't have Tom Brady. These guys invested in their quarterback. They all made a killing. And because of that, they have money. They put it into the basketball guy. Right now, the guy to invest in Boston was Jason Tatum. So I think people who have built up a nice collection, they have Brady's, Tatum's their guy because that's the guy in Boston. So I think you're right. I think you're onto something. I think he has that longer leash. Did he just put up a huge game?
He did put up a huge game.
Anybody who could drop like 60 points like he can, at any given time, that somebody can heat up.
Jr. could drop that many.
Who? Kevin Porter Jr. or Michael Porter Jr.? Which one?
Kevin Porter Jr.
Oh, listen, KPJ could be in the right, with some therapy. He could be okay also.
The question is never the talent. It's the consistency to be on the upper echelon. Because Tatum is incredible. Yeah, but his game is very limited. He's not athletic enough. He's beautiful one-on-one, but he can't really play off the dribble, which you know how much I love playing off the dribble. I'm not going to get into a huge spiel.
Well, listen, I'll touch on a couple of other ones, and then we can go through our spiel. We'll get back to the games. We're giving a lot of people a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. What I noticed is that some vintage basketball took a little bit of a hit this week. The Yastrzemski. Yes, shoot, please.
If they have they're a big market, they're a credible team, a credible legacy, they can build around him and Jaylen Brown. They just need way more pieces, and I think that's 2-3 years down the road. I just want to caveat that because he's a good player and he doesn't have to do everything. And if they had a few more pieces, they could do some things. And he is very young still. So that's your time horizon, 2 to 4 years with Tatum, not 2 to 4 months.
Okay. It makes sense. So Yastrzemski rookie basket down a lot, down almost a third.
Who is that?
Call Yastrzemski, man. He's awesome. So 1280 last week closed, 845 this week closed. That's not pretty.
How do you spell this guy's name?
Yaz, Y-A-Z.
I apologize, guys. Please don't be mad. This 1960.
Look at that. What the hell happened? What happened
think
last week?
Realize they don't know who Carl Yastrzemski is, and they're like, "Shoot, I'm holding an asset. I'm holding a PFP that I don't even know what this is."
Have you ever heard of Mike Yastrzemski?
He's
playing for the San Francisco Giants. He's awesome. He's very good. Anyway, so this
guy is a very accomplished baseball player. I just don't know him, and I think the card is cool.
One of the best Red Sox ever. Yaz is a beast, but it fell off a cliff. as did the Mays 1956, which has now gone down a couple of weeks in a row, and the Mantle 1968 basket. I mean, maybe it's a basket thing, but that was 8.9, now 7.05, the 68 Mantle basket. Normally you don't see Mantles, going down. That's not the 68 basket.
Apologies.
I think that's a 66. I mean, that's a 56, I think.
I will say, though, there's so many Mantle cards on here that there is some benefit. Wow, a little coming soon here with a Mantle PSA 7.
Hey, now.
New slab, so I see what they did here. Not a terrible looking one. A pretty nice looking 7, a little off center, but
great registration, great color. I'm pretty sure there's a 7 ending tonight in the Premier, and it looks like the market cap on that's $299, and the one in Premier is already over 200. So it looks like they got the market cap right. Card's a little off center, both top to bottom and right to left. That matters when you get up into those numbers. So anyway, the 68 Mantle basket, but it wasn't just vintage baseball. Yeah, look at that. What happened? Another one right off the cliff. Interesting.
One investor, man, he probably held a few of these.
But we talked about a big jump last week, the Seager Orange. You want to pull that one up and look at a fun chart for week over week? Seager, SEAG. There you go. Only one card, the orange basket. Look at that. Look at the 1 week chart on this. This was one that went up and now boom, fell right off 6.7 a share to 3.6 a share. I mean, it's interesting to see, how volatile these are. This is, modern baseball, while there's obviously no baseball being played. And week over week, they are up, they are down. I'm going to shut up.
He's in Texas now, Cage?
Yeah, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to ask you to look at a chart and tell me what's going on, because this is your guy. This is your baby. Pull up that Mayweather-Browns boxing rookie for me. Okay, we talked about this last week. Before you look, we talked about last week. It was down 45%. What do you think happened this week?
Bounce back.
Take a look. Show the 1 month chart if you want. I mean, yeah, there's the 1 week. But that card, after being down 45% last week, was up 34% this week.
How many shares we got here? 4,000 shares. I think it's finding its equilibrium, Cage.
All right.
It's also not super easy to get in and out of these cards, but I think the lesson is sound. Like, when you see big dips, you could dip buy them and get a really good price, especially if you believe in them long term. It's just like a guy that was oversold. You come in and you say, I'll hold long term. You get in at a really good price point.
I am with you.
It's cardboard relevance, but I think that happened with the Josh Allen card, for example. So
yep, ups and downs, and I guess we'll see what happens.
And anything else? Let's get back.
No, we'll do. Listen, before we do it, just a quick 5-minute rundown, right? So, this week overall vintage was basically flat, up 0.02%. Modern down 2.15%. Ultra modern down 3.67%. The only sports to have positive returns: golf and boxing. Obviously, the boxing was driven by that big comeback from Mayweather. Some of Tiger's stuff actually moved up a little bit, continued as we head towards the Masters. The Gretzky O-Pee-Chee was up 1%. It's still trading way lower than the 156 REA, the Robert Edwards sale. But we've talked about this a million times. That card specifically, it matters what it looks like. Not all PSA 9s are the same. And the one that we're talking about here has a little bit of a rough left edge. You get a little white on it. And it does make a huge difference when you talk about comps of specific cards. That one, it's the same thing with like a PSA 8 Hank Aaron. If it's got a rougher edge versus a flatter edge, it's the same kind of thing. Not all cards are the same when you get to that high level. And there's a real eye appeal distinction between them. Same thing with that Mantle that's coming, right? Zion Blue Prism BGS 10 slid again, down another 5% after last week, down 5% after 14% the week before that. He's not back. I mean, now we're talking about what? All-Star break coming. If he comes back at all, it's going to be towards the end of the season. I think people are discounting that card and really getting to a point where I don't think people believe he's going to come back. We had one of the cards I was going to mention here, the Magic Bird Dr. J basket, where it's 2 PSA 8s. That has come down over the last 2 weeks, down from $12.25 a share to $9.95 down to $8. We had recent sales that now it's finally in there. This was trading significantly higher than those recent sales. I mean, recently one of these sold at Golden for $5,300, and we were way higher than that from a comp perspective on Collectable. So it's now finally getting back down. A card to take a look at, and I mean, I hate to do this, but you guys, we're trying to give you what we see on the platform. It took that Magic Bird basket a little while to trade with the comps. Take a look at the 1960 Willie Mays PSA 9. Now, I talked about how Willie Mays 1956 was actually down the last couple weeks, 8.5 to 765 to 6. This one different. This is a PSA 9 1960 Willie Mays, was up 8.5% this week, and it's got a market cap of $34,675. Take a look at the card. Okay, just pull the card up itself, right? So this one went up. This happens to be a gorgeous card. This might be the nicest 9 out there. There's not that many 9s out there. Another 9 sold in Golden, and it was not as nice as this one. So, we can give the Collectable cards a little bit of a ding. I think the Gretzky's not as nice as the Comp 9. This Mays 9 is much nicer than the recent sale at Golden. But you want to take a guess what the recent sale at Golden was a couple weeks back for the same PSA 9? $19,800. This card market cap $34,675, and it went up. Now, you can say that it's because when you get up to the PSA 9s, and there are set builders and there are people who are buying these cards, that they like to have, they'll pay a premium. It's worth more to have a gorgeous card like this. And that does factor into it. But you're now getting to a point with this card going up this week that it's nearly double the most recent comp at Golden. That's scary. Okay, what we're seeing with the basket from Magic Bird is that eventually it catches up to those comps. That Magic Bird has slowly started moving down. I would expect that this one will also follow suit, because the headline, which most people stop at the headline, they don't get into the actual article, is Collectable has a Maze that just sold for $19,800, and Collectable has it for $34 and change. Those eventually, that is going to even out. That is going to level out. Let's see what else. Josh Allen cards. We'll see what happens with that. Tiger SP Authentic up, basically flat, up 0.25%. We talked about that. Mahomes was flat. I think everybody's waiting to see what happens today. I think you could see a little bit of a dip on Mahomes.
I think Mahomes is going to get to that status soon that we can't question his greatness. Now, I don't know where the price will be, but there was a lot of questioning, how good Mahomes is, how good Mahomes is going to be. I'm really interested to see his market the next 3-6 months. That's a market I'm going to watch. I mean, obviously you watch that market because on one side, he's incredible. He clearly is a winner. He's clearly one of a kind. On the other, we talked about this on Whatnot. It's a big cap hit. They're going to probably lose some talent. We're going to really find out next year how good is he.
Yeah, but if he wins a Super Bowl this year and he has an MVP and 2 Super Bowls, he can take a couple of years. He could have a Brady spell of 5 years where nothing good happens. It doesn't make a difference. That's who he's being compared to right now. And speaking of, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he wins tonight. I think it'll help his cards. Brady losing. We talked about the contenders. Brady's PSA 10 SP Authentic was up 3.5%, and his BGS 10 Bowman was up 4%. I think those might actually reverse now with his loss. I think those might get back some of those gains. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Your favorite stuff. Kobe memorabilia continue dropping. The rookie season sneakers down 1%. The final season sneakers down almost 10%. The first white jersey down 13%, and the French blue sneakers down another 7.5%. It's interesting to see all the Kobe memorabilia down, while the Peyton Manning helmet that we like to talk about because it's just a cool piece of memorabilia continues trading. It opened up for trading 5 weeks ago, up another 24% this week after 11, 17. It was down 7, up 14, up 5. So basically, it's trading 5-6 weeks, and every week but one, it's got significant gains. I think a lot of that has to do with. Did you watch the last, Monday night broadcast with Peyton and Eli? It's hilarious. They had The Rock on. I mean, they were just, Eli was telling The Rock he should pile drive Peyton to make his neck feel better. It's like can't miss TV. It's a lot of fun. And those guys, they've remained relevant. You know what I mean? They've remained in there. They're in the Caesars commercial. They bring Arch. They bring what's his name, Archie and Cooper. They're like, Cooper, you're my favorite.
Eli is that kind of guy. If you watch him, you're like, this guy didn't have a good career. But then people are gonna not really look at that, and they're gonna look to Super Bowls, Peyton's brother. This guy's kind of investable. Do you think he ever becomes cardboard relevant?
Eli? Oh,
See
man.
where I went there, though, right, Cage?
Yeah. I mean, listen, Peyton was a much better quarterback. But it's funny because I think now afterwards they're going to be inextricably linked. And it's great the way they do it, right? It's like, the Caesar commercial. They're like, well, Peyton, you were good. You won once, but your brother won too. And he had the helmet catch. And Peyton's like, well, the only reason I had a helmet catch is because I wasn't throwing. I would have put it on the guy's numbers. He wouldn't have had to catch it on his helmet. You know what I mean? Like, that's funny stuff. I love watching that stuff. And if they're gonna stay fun, I mean, think of how relevant Joe Rogan is. Now towards the tail end of whatever the hell he's doing a UFC announcing career. But look what he's done, right? If you stay relevant afterwards, all of a sudden, you add this extra, layer onto your collectability and your cardboard relevance.
Do you look at some Eli Peyton autos, like dual autos?
That would be cool. You find a dual auto of those guys, 100%. Maybe one with Brady in it.
This is a collectible show, but we're value adders time and time again.
Look at that. That's a cool card. Eli and Peyton on the same card with a little dual autograph. Little Mannings. That's a cool one. Right? All right, guys. So as far as the IPOs, the LeBron rookie Game 1 sneakers is fully funded. Open to the public is that Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Magic quad auto. Only 12% remaining on that one. That's going to sell out. Just as Andrew mentioned, the 52 Topps Mantle PSA 7 is open for exclusive in-app early access. That card has a market value of $299. It's right in line with what's going on with PWCC's sale. Last I looked, that was over 200 plus the buyer's premium. So I can take a look at that and see what it's at now. That auction ends in about an hour. I mean, it goes into extra bidding in about an hour. I can give you a comp on that just to let you know where we stand on the Mantle. Looks like the 7 is at $240 plus buyer's premium. So that's $48. That's $288 current bid. So the $299, they're pretty on. One more bid on this, and the collectible comp is actually less than what this one sells for. Bobby Orr 1970-71 game used jersey is also open to the it's in the early app. It opens to the public on Thursday, 127. Brady's NFL debut full ticket PSA 7 is in the in-app early access. Oscar Robertson's rookie jersey also early access in the app, as is the Wilt Chamberlain 1972 game used Lakers jersey in the in-app early access. This week coming up, Tuesday, Warren Spahn 1948 Leaf PSA 9. That's an awesome card. Wednesday, Yao Ming, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki triple logo man opens for early access with 163.5 market cap. On Thursday, 127 is that Bobby Orr game used jersey that'll open to the public. That's got a $399 market cap. That is, basically the sum of what we have going on. A lot of cards that we talked about today. A lot of things moving in various directions. I think a lot of actionable stuff. I'm going to go find out what happened to Derek Jeter and see what happened with that, why that fell off the cliff. I'm going to go do some research, make sure he's okay. But, you got to figure maybe that's something that kind of bounces back also. You look for those market corrections where somebody maybe just getting out for liquidity purposes. Who knows?
I mean, do you do your own research? But, I mean, that's a card that I would be buying. Not in any grade, but the VIG from BGS 9.5. And I would also be interested in how SGC performs, because I know that card was also graded by SGC at times. BGS 9.5, I think there's some very interesting moves you can make there. Very interesting moves.
There you go.
Good
they don't call you the best color man in the business for nothing. I love it.
Well, dude, you held it down today. I got to give you hats off.
We're rolling, and back to the game. Let's see who's going to have an up week and who's going to have a bad week. Little Josh Allen, little Patrick Mahomes, back and forth. And will I be made to look smart again? Will Josh Allen have more than – I picked it at 48.5, but I think it was up to like 53 by game time. Will he have more than 53 rushing yards? I think he had 45.
That's the power of Luca Nation, guys. We don't just steam NFTs and cards. We steam odds.
I do. I killed that line myself. I moved Josh Allen's rushing yards line myself 5 yards, 10% up in one direction.
He's at
still gonna
45
get it.
yards. 45.
He had 45 and a half. He had 45 and a half. So we'll see. I mean, you would think one more rush, he'll get to 53 if you had it at 53, whatever it is. So, all right, back to the game. We'll see what happens.
You held it down. Fractional report, collectible. Hats off to you. We couldn't be more excited for Mint Collective. A lot of cool stuff coming down the pipe. We just love you guys, man. This is fun. Thank you for always engaging with us. Gage, any final words? You want to say thank you to anybody? Any shout outs?
Yeah, I gave 2 tickets out today in our Whatnot show to the Mint Collective, given to us by Whatnot. So that's a fun one.
You are Willy Wonka. He was like, I'm going to slip these into your package.
That's it. A little golden ticket, right? A little golden ticket action. You know, I said, all right, we're going to buy your stuff. We got Mint Collective tickets. They're in there with the cards. I slid them in there. You know, they're ready. I'm got them ready to ship already. So we're rocking and we're rolling. Yeah, shoot.
So, I love your office. I like how you've done what you've done with that place. It's kind of your office. Like you got your cards on one side, you got your light, your stand.
Yeah, I got the computer. I got I'm rocking and rolling. You know, we're doing good.